Hey, everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and with me, as always, is Scribe. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
And the lovely SDA is joining us. Say hello.
Hi guys.
And it's nice to see Peterbilt back in the chat. Glad to see you, bud. Hope
Yay!
everything's okay down there.
Other Peter.
Other Peter. Um, guys, we have a problem. We need to find a specific piece of video, and there's way too much for just us to look through. So, if anybody would like to, we'd really like to find the meatloaf incident on our live stream.
Yeah, let me explain. So last night, for those of you that might not have seen the stream, Jonathan Malone made a very, very generous donation and requested a very special ad, and that being a ad essentially for the stream. And now that we actually have a name for ourselves, and that was one of the things that kind of was eluding us in the past. It's as good a time as any to actually make a promo ad for the stream. And I thought I'm trying to think of a sort of storyboard in my head of how I would do this, because as it was a donation to me, it's my responsibility to make it up. But I thought that something that'd be cool is to have a short little montage of some of our best lore moments. And the first one that came up when I was thinking of what to do for SDA, or at least maybe us as a group, was the meatloaf incident. So
meatloaf,
but
it is so iconic,
it is,
and we have no fucking idea where it's at.
Yeah, we know it has to have been a stream on Monkey's channel, because for the longest time in the beginning of all this, we were just doing this on Monkey's channel before we started rotating. So it's on Monkey's channel. It's before June, and I think it has
probably before April. It's probably in April.
Yeah, it's either April. It's somewhere within the first month or two that we started doing this. It was really early on, but we don't know which one it was. So if there's anybody that happened to have favorited that stream or has any notion where it is, it'd be great if somebody has an idea, because we have no idea. And I'd love to get that sound clip, or at least be able to mine that portion of it for a soundbite or two.
Yeah, when we find it, we'll let everybody know so that nobody has to look. But yeah, it's such a great moment and definitely should be in there.
Yeah,
one way to find it, Monkey, might be to look through your comments and use the keyword meatloaf.
Yeah,
because if people were commenting the word meatloaf.
Yeah, but if anybody in the chat has a few free minutes to look through Monkey's archive of early streams and try to find something that might give us a clue as to where it is, we'd appreciate it. And just in case Jonathan Malone's listening to this now or in the near future, I am actively thinking and or planning this out. It's going to take me some time. I want to do this right, because it was a very generous donation, and this is going to be like our promo, or at least I hope it'll be at least a promo that we do. Yeah, and I'm going to be conspiring with Monkey and SDA to get it done. But when it is done, I'll preview it to them, and we'll take a look and make sure everything's in the right place, and then we'll show it to everybody and premiere it the night of its completion, so to speak. But that might be a week from now or longer. We'll see. I just want to make sure I get it right. So that's all that is.
Speaking of which, you have a few ads to do.
Well, I had a question. So should I do them piecemeal now, or should I do them as a block at YouTube time for my segment? Because I have like 8 of them. It's going to take a while. And we do have breaking news in the wonderful world of the schnews. So it's good.
Yeah, let's actually, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so anybody listening now or maybe later, not live, if you want to hear the giant block of like 8 ads I have to read, a couple of which have been withheld for on request by the requesters for different reasons. Skip around if you feel free to the last 15 minutes of the first hour, or hour 45 thereabouts. I'll do my YouTube stuff last, and I'll just read the ads. That's pretty much all I did today as far as YouTube stuff, was just write ads. So
okay, works for me. So
yeah, a lot of people are asking what the heck the meatloaf incident is, and if you don't know, you will see. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever said.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It's part. It is certainly part of stream lore, and if you can find it, I don't know. Should we put a prize on finding that if somebody finds it before we do?
No.
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 Okay. Well, you get a big thank you on the air, if nothing else.
Yeah, that's what you get. I can't promise anything.
Okay.
If somebody besides one of us finds it, I'll give you a shout out at the end of my next video.
There you go.
After you find it.
Yeah. You can tail it to the video for anybody who doesn't know it, and then give a thank you. Let's see.
Wait. Mash, you can't just pick a word to use for movie titles. It has to be something we said.
Yeah, it's got to come. It's got to be relevant to the stream.
Yes, yeah.
I'm getting a little echo from the SDA world.
Okay, that fixed it.
Testing. Yes.
Testing. Sounds good. So you said we have news, huh?
Oh, we have breaking news. So exclusive. This is CNN exclusive. The U.S. government, under a secret warrant, had been wiretapping the Trump campaign chairman before and after the election.
Yes, I saw that.
U.S. investigators wiretapped former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort under secret court orders before and after the election, sources tell CNN, an extraordinary step involving a high-ranking campaign official now at the center of the Russia meddling probe. Scooby-Doo.
Meddling.
You meddling kids.
Meddling kids and dumb dog, too.
Damn dog. The government snooping continued into early this year, including a period when Manafort was known to talk to President Donald Trump. Some of the intelligence collected includes communications that sparked concerns among investigators that Manafort had encouraged the Russians to help with the campaign, according to 3 sources familiar with the investigation. 2 of these sources, however, caution that the evidence is not conclusive. Okay. Special counsel Robert Mueller's team, which is leading in the investigation into Russia's involvement in the election, has been provided details of these communications. So just to back up, when Trump was making accusations that he and/or his campaign had been wiretapped by the government and the Obama administration, he wasn't wrong.
Yes and no, because he said he was being wiretapped.
This is true.
So there's nothing so far that we've seen to suggest he actually was, but Trump Tower actually was, because Manafort was staying there at the time. So he's half right and the FBI's half wrong. Let's put it. That's how.
Let's see. A secret order authorized by the court that handles the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, began after Manafort became the subject of an FBI investigation that began in 2014. It's centered on work done by a group of Washington consulting firms for Ukraine's former ruling party, the sources told CNN. The surveillance was discontinued at some point last year for lack of evidence, according to one of the sources. Last year, at least after the campaign, I assume, if they're talking about it like that. The FBI then restarted their surveillance after obtaining a new FISA warrant that extended at least into early this year. Okay. Sources say the second warrant was part of the FBI's effort to investigate ties between Trump campaign associates and suspected Russian operatives. Such warrants require the approval of top Justice Department and FBI officials, and the FBI must provide the court with information showing suspicion that the subject of the warrant may be acting as an agent of a foreign power. It is unclear when the new warrant started. The FBI interest deepened last fall because of intercepted communications between Manafort and suspected Russian operatives, and among the Russians themselves, that reignited their interest in Manafort. As part of the FISA warrant, CNN has learned that earlier this year, the FBI conducted a search of a storage facility belonging to Manafort. It's not known what they found. The conversations between Manafort and Trump continued after the president took office, long after the FBI investigation into Manafort was publicly known, the sources told CNN. They went on until lawyers for the president and Manafort insisted that they stop, according to the sources. It is unclear whether Trump himself was picked up on the surveillance. The White House declined to comment for this story. A spokesperson for Manafort didn't comment for the story. Let's see. Manafort previously has denied that he ever knowingly communicated with Russian intelligence operatives during the election, and also has denied participating in any Russian efforts to undermine the interests of the United States. The FBI wasn't listening in June 2016, the sources said, when Donald Trump Jr. led a meeting that included Manafort, then campaign chairman, and Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, with a Russian lawyer who had promised negative information on Hillary Clinton. That gap could prove crucial as prosecutors and investigators under Mueller work to determine whether there's evidence of a crime in myriad connections that have come to light between suspected Russian government operatives and associates of Trump. And yes, that's the gist.
Okay, got a super chat here. Thank you, Sweeper Steven Chatelet, everyone, and I'm back to show some love to you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Sweeper.
This shit just keeps going on and on and on. Yeah, if he's guilty, then they got him, but who cares? I don't care. I don't. when you had, never mind. I'll keep. We had Hillary absolutely breaking the law. There's no question she did. And the FBI just let her go. No big deal. Let it go. But this, he might have talked to some Russians. It's not like they, like you've mentioned this before. It's not like they fucking hacked the ballot box.
Right.
It's a non-issue to me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, because I mean, let's say that Manafort did talk to Russian agents. Let's just say that they did. Okay. Mm-hmm. Manafort's guilty of a crime.
Yep.
How does that affect the election?
It didn't.
You know, I mean, even if, and here's the thing. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I don't claim to be. I don't know exactly what crime it would be if elements of Trump's campaign talked to the Russians and somehow that also led to the WikiLeaks dump. I don't know what the line you draw between them talking about it versus someone doing it and what the legal implications are there. The one thing I just want someone to make clear is that even if Trump is guilty of something involving all of that, none of it affected the election.
Well, even here's the thing, because they've been so desperate to tie the Russian connection to the hacking to the dump. Let's say even all of that is true. Nobody is suggesting that the stuff in the WikiLeaks dump was false.
Yeah.
So the worst you're saying is, the Russians pointed out bad stuff Hillary did. There you go.
Yeah. What was the conspiracy?
I don't like the Russians meddling. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I just don't think it makes a difference. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think in my head, you know, it's like, okay, if everything they say is absolutely true, it means what? That exactly. Russia came to them saying, hey, we have either access to or the ability to provide information that would look badly upon Hillary Clinton. And I mean, the fact that it would be foreign nationals is the issue. If it had been like a press outlet or something, like, hey, Trump, we have this stuff, or even Breitbart or whatever the hell else it was, it'd just be sort of shady journalistic practices and a campaign colluding with the media, which of course has never happened.
Right.
The fact that it may, and I underscore the word may, be Russian agents or have been some kind of Russian conspiracy. That's really the question. Was it some kind of foreign agent contact, and was there a violation of federal law there? If there was, prosecute. By all means, prosecute to the ends of the earth. I'm just pissed off, and continually so, that there's this suggestion that somehow, even if everything that they say is true, that somehow that changed who was going to vote for what after September 1st, when everybody already knew who the fuck they were going to vote for. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, the part that bothers me is that this notion that somehow, not just that the election would come out different, but that there's nothing to show that the WikiLeaks drop actually hurt or helped anyone.
Well, now that is the best segue into the follow-up story I have about this.
Sweet, let's go.
Because the Manafort thing came out after I had already picked out this story for Profile, because this was the headline on CNN.
Before you get to that, I'd also like to point out this is all of this is people within our government sharing stuff that's actually not supposed to be shared.
Mm-hmm.
How ironic is that?
Yeah, leaking to the media information that is supposed to be secret warrants and stuff.
Yeah.
Who would have thought, right?
So here's the story. Here's the story that was the headline before Manafort, and it's very interesting that we were just talking about that, because the headline reads, "Clinton opens door to questioning legitimacy of 2016 election."
Oh yeah.
Hillary Clinton, in an interview that aired Monday on NPR, said she, quote, would not, unquote, rule out questioning the legitimacy of the 2016 election if Russian interference is deeper than currently known. Would she have questioned it if she had won in spite of it?
No.
Of course not. The comment, a remarkable step for the former Democratic nominee, is it? Is it really?
Is it?
At this point, is anything that she has said publicly since her book come out, is it really that remarkable? Exemplifies Clinton's belief that President Donald Trump and his campaign could have knowingly received help from Russian operatives in the 2016 election. Yes, anything to avoid your own personal culpability in your failure. Hillary, I am sure you will say it.
And for the record, wait, I want to stop you here.
Mm-hmm.
This is Hillary Clinton, whose husband got a whole bunch of shit because we know Chinese operatives were working with them. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, speaking of real communists, Clinton has said previously that she conceded to Trump quickly and attended. Well, no, she did concede quickly. She did not make a speech doing so until the next day. She conceded. She gave him a concession call the night of. It's true. But she did not come out herself onto a stage and say anything about it until the day after. So I will at least concede that point, because that's not untrue. She didn't publicly concede until, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see. Clinton had said previously that she conceded to Trump quickly and attended his inauguration because the nation's peaceful transfer of power is critical. But her comments to NPR signaled that as the depths of Russia's interference are revealed, she could envision a time when she questions Trump's legitimacy as president. NPR's Terry Gross asked Clinton directly during the interview whether she would, quote, completely rule out questioning the legitimacy of this election if we learn that the Russian interference in the election is even deeper than we know now. No, I would not, Clinton said. Gross asked, you're not going to rule it out? No, Clinton said, I wouldn't rule it out. Clinton is in the midst of a media blitz to promote her new memoir, What Happened? A reflection on her stunning loss in the 2016 election and diagnostic for the Democratic Party going forward. No, it is not. If you want to know what happened, read Shattered. I gotta tell you, going to the person who is at fault for her own failure is not the person you want to go to for a diagnostic of what your party needs to do. You need to look at the people who are actually running the campaign and what was going on the inside, not from the ivory tower that Hillary Clinton was sitting in during the whole time. Just saying. The subsequent book tour has thrust Clinton back into the public eye, after months largely out of the news, and for good reason, because she is a failed candidate. Did we ever hear this much after an election from John McCain or Bob Dole or Mitt Romney?
No, because they were not sore losers.
In the book,
Hillary Clinton actually believed she just should have had the presidency. She shouldn't even have had to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that in her campaign strategy.
Yes.
You can see it in just the way she even spoke. It was like, why should I, the debates, her demeanor was, why should I even have to talk? You obviously just vote for me.
Yeah.
And so she really cannot get it in her head that she lost. Fuck her.
Yeah. That attitude, I mean, I keep promoting this book, and I swear to God, I'm not being compensated by anybody for it, but it's such an interesting, listen, because I'm lazy and I got the unabridged audio book. But yeah, the Shattered behind the scenes book really shows from the ground level of the people actually working for her just how nonchalant and disconnected she was from any of the ground game for most of the campaign until like the last, 2 months or something. And even then. So anyway, in the book, Clinton cast Trump as a toxic but hapless leader who won the White House by preying on the nation's fears. Nowhere in the book, however, does she directly question his legitimacy, although she certainly comes close in the 500-page memoir. Glenn Kaplan, a spokesman for Hillary Clinton, reiterated in a statement after the interview aired that the former Secretary of State, quote, has said repeatedly, the results of the election are over, but we have to learn what happened, unquote. Right, but there you go.
Yeah, we know what happened. She lost. There's never been any suggestion that there was voter fraud from the Russians. It's all been just, they said bad things about Hillary and that helped Trump. Fuck it. I don't care. I really don't. You lost.
Well, one of the things they talk about in the Shattered book is the fact that when the whole Podesta email thing came out, there was a legitimately false, but still a conflation of those emails and that scandal with her other email scandal on her special servers. Oh, you got a super chat.
Thank you, Crazy Opinion. It's because she's a woman and he's a man. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, see, that's not it either, because if you go back to the Bush Gore one, the same thing happened. And yes, there was a lot more complicated going on. But Democrats are sore fucking losers. They really are. And recent Democrats, anyone associated with the Clinton machine.
Let's see. So anyway, yeah, I just thought that was an interesting, the fact that that sort of story broke before the Manafort thing, and then we start talking about legitimacy and all that fun stuff.
You're not suggesting that might have been planned, are you?
I don't know. Grassy knoll? What? No.
CNN would never pull something like that. Come on.
No, they're above that kind of.
They don't even like the word boobs.
No, of course not.
They're upstanding adults. Fucking assholes.
Let's see. The only other news to talk about right now is that we are still in hurricane season. Hurricane Maria has gone up to a Category 5 and is moving towards the Dominican Republic.
Can I just say, I called that.
Yeah. Really quick.
Hurricane what? I'm sorry.
Maria.
Okay.
A potentially catastrophic Hurricane Maria is now a Category 5 storm, packing 160 miles per hour winds with even higher gusts as it nears Dominica and takes aim at the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico. The extremely dangerous core of Maria is expected to pass over Dominica within the next hour or two, the National Hurricane Center said in its 8 p.m. Eastern advisory. Maria is likely to affect Puerto Rico as an extremely dangerous major hurricane, and a hurricane warning has been issued for that island. A U.S. Air Force Reserve C-130 Hurricane Hunter data measured. Wait, what? Data measured? Is that a phrase? Data measured?
Sure.
I don't know. Anyway, data measured the intense storm, which heightens the chance of life-threatening storm surge and, quote, hitting the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. Maria is developing the dreaded pinhole eye, a very small, perfect inner core of a very intense hurricane, the center said. Oh, boy. The Hurricane Center's statement said Maria was centered about 35 miles east-southeast of Dominica and 50 miles northeast of Martinique. They don't have any track prediction yet on where it might go any further than that. It's got quite a ways to go before it gets to Cuba and the
whatever happened to
Florida
Jose?
coast. I think
last I saw, it was just kind of churning around the Atlantic, making big circles. But did it just die out in the middle of the Atlantic?
Let's see if I can find a track on that.
I feel like Jose and Maria coming together could be bad for us white people.
Yeah. Hurricane Jose, Monday, September 18th. It is. It's okay. 11 a.m. Monday. So it was. Quite a ways east of the Atlantic coast. So it's like it's way east of North Carolina right now.
Still just hanging out in the ocean. Okay.
Yeah, and it's, let's see. Jose is one of 3 storms in the Atlantic, but it's the one southern New Englanders are concerned with. Clouds will increase more and more as we move through Monday, and they are all associated with Hurricane Jose. As the storm tracks north, the first impacts will come as early as Tuesday morning. Okay, starting Tuesday morning, rain moves in from the south to the north. At first, it will be light rain, but the accumulation will pick up quickly. The hardest hitting rain will occur Tuesday into Wednesday morning. It's a tropical storm at this stage of the game, and it's going to dissipate, but it's going to dump a bunch of rain off the New England coast in the next few days.
Understand. Okay.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, they don't say if it's going to cause like flooding, but they say that the brunt of the rain will result in 4 inches and some localized spots nearing 5 inches. This will lead to flooding concerns, and with the combination of high winds, power outages are likely. So it's going to be a mess, but it's not a hurricane. That doesn't necessarily make it any less dangerous for people right on the coast, but yeah, so we just have to wait and see. The track they've got right now is that it's not going to make landfall until maybe Wednesday, and that's just a prediction because it might track further east, so they're not sure yet. That's Jose.
Alrighty. Anything else for major news?
That was it for major news. I'm trying to see. I thought there was something on the wonderful world of the AP Raw site.
The Nuggets in chat. We're all going to die again.
Yeah, exactly. What was this?
You know, I do want to address that real quick. In my video I made about the hurricane thing, who was I responding to? Oh yeah, Thunderfoot.
Thunderfoot.
Rush Limbaugh got a bunch of shit for comments he made. He made it political, but which you can get some shit for that. But his basic point was that people keep using these hurricanes to scare people.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just been talking to a Dindro the night before, and I understand why they, pump this up. Hey, there's this hurricane coming. It could be bad. But it does have the effect, especially with something like Jose, which if Jose had been the only storm of the season and was just hitting the coast the way it is after it had been, Jose was originally pumped up as another great big storm coming right after Irma. It does have the psychological effect of people who live in hurricane zones of going, hurricanes aren't that big of a deal. And I don't know, how to address the issue with that. Maybe better tracking, maybe spend a little more money on that part of science. But there is this thing, if you've ever lived in a hurricane zone and there's supposed to be a hurricane coming for you, where after the first one is, light, the next one comes through and you're like, fuck it, I don't care. So like when we had Katrina, everybody's like, why didn't everybody leave? It's like, well, they've been through it before and it was no big deal. But we get such a big, especially now when we have the 24-hour news cycle and it's all they talk about, death and destruction. And while Irma wasn't, it left a wake of dead bodies. It wasn't what we were told it was going to be. So what happens the next time a major storm comes through that area? People aren't going to leave. They're like, fuck it, it's going to be no big deal.
Yeah, it's the hurricane that cried wolf scenario.
Exactly, yeah. And again, I understand why they do it, because if they do hit at maximum force, if Irma had gone across Florida at maximum force at 185 miles an hour, it would have fucked it all up.
Mm-hmm.
But since it didn't, I mean, what happens in the next one? You get kind of numb to it. So I actually that whole we're all going to die again. I understand that feeling. I just wish there was a better way to track these fucking things.
Okay, well, I've got two quick stories, then we can do MSS News unless something else jumps out at us.
The media who cried apocalypse.
Yeah. So
that's exactly.
First one is Dallas moles renaming schools with Confederacy-tied names. A Dallas school district is researching numerous historical figures to determine if their connections to slavery or the Confederacy should prompt consideration of removing their names from district campuses.
For fuck's sake.
Dallas Independent School District administrators recently recommended changing the names of elementary schools honoring Confederate generals Stonewall Jackson, Robert E. Lee, Albert Sidney Johnson, and William L. Cabell, the Dallas Morning News reported. A list of more than 20 other people, including... You're kidding me. Okay. A list of more than 20 other people, including Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and Dallas pioneer William Brown Miller, was compiled to look into their histories, though more research is needed to determine what, if any, action should be taken. Quote, this was just a very quick review of looking at the biographies of the individuals, the administrators told trustees on Thursday, and if there was any association with Confederacy, not making a judgment for or against, just if we saw Confederacy named in it, then we highlighted it. We are now in the process of doing a second look. Okay, so, hold on. Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin. Okay, you are the administrators of a school district. Let me ask you something. What role did Ben Franklin or Thomas Jefferson from the 1780s have the fuck to do in 1865? Holy shit.
Sins of the father, I guess.
Oh my, okay. All right.
More like sins of the grandson.
Well, here's my thing with that, because they said if it just said Confederacy anywhere in their biography, Grant fought the Confederacy. You think he got caught up in that?
You think, okay, oh, what about the Articles of Confederation? Oh, shit. Ben Franklin, Thomas, all the founding fathers are complicit in the Confederacy of 1865, three or whatever. Like, no, this really pisses me off. These guys are supposed to be the head of a school district, and they're asking if Ben Franklin has something to do with the Civil War.
Yeah.
And like, if you want to draw a line of like historical dominoes, then yes, you know what? Fucking Adam and Eve have something to do with the Civil War. Ben Franklin and Thomas Jefferson and the Confederacy. This is okay. Well, it is Texas. What can I tell you? They were still fighting for creationism not too long ago. So what the fuck? Sorry, that chaps my hide.
I like when you go full rant. It makes me feel better about when I do it.
God, some things, I tell you what, some things. Anyway, so there was that story. And the only other one, sorry, go ahead. You sound like you're saying something.
Well, I was just gonna say, if they might as well just get it all over with, rename everything after Louis Farrakhan and call it a day.
No, they just need to name everything after fucking Beyonce and get it over with, because apparently the only thing that you are allowed to do correctly is just be black, and that's it. And like sometimes even that's not enough.
I was gonna say, Satsu told us the other day, and so did what the hell was his name? Our guest the other night.
Clashing Ideals.
Clashing Ideals. Sometimes being black, you can do that wrong.
No, what they need to do, what they should do, the safe thing to do across this country is to take every school, whether it's kindergarten or elementary or junior high or high school, and just rename them all to high school, junior high, elementary school. And if you've got more than one elementary school in your area or in your state or whatever, you just give them numbers. Elementary school.
We know you can't give them numbers, because what if you accidentally give like the poorer school like a number, and then like they're in the back of the bus and there's more black people, and like honestly there's nothing we can do.
You're right. Okay, abstract.
Stop naming things.
Pleasing them.
Abstract.
And we can't just give it a number either.
No. Abstract mathematical symbols, like from symbolic logic. Like dots and little alligators and things and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like, what if you're dotting something and it's like racist because it's a red dot, and like that's offensive to Indians?
Well, here's the next one. If once we get rid of all the racist school names and everything, when do we start going after the sexists?
What do you mean?
Well,
what sexists? Who in particular are you talking about, Monkey? Who are you accusing of being a sexist, Monkey?
Everybody in history. Every man in history.
Everybody in history.
Well, yeah, because there's a bunch of people. I don't know if like they know this, but there's a bunch of people in history who don't, whose ideologies back then don't match what we consider moral today. Like, I know that's crazy.
No.
And very scary, but like morals and ideals have changed over time.
Timothy Seelbeck, thank you so much. Scribe, DISD is run by people who are against creationism.
So the Dallas Independent School District is against creationism, but doesn't know that Ben Franklin wasn't involved in the Confederacy. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I guess the question is the Confederacy a result of intelligent design or evolution?
Oh, that's a good question. Thank you, Miss Slim One. We can't be black either. We all need to apologize constantly and give everyone our money. Fuck the overly sensitive people. Fuck the overly sensitive people is part of my motto as a person.
All right. I don't want to lose too much time before MSS News, but so the other one I wanted to bring up real quick. I just read the first bit of this, and shades of Mizzou from the other year.
Oh, okay.
Incident here. University assailed over handling of sexual harassment case. Buffalo, New York. Questions over the University of Rochester's. Whenever I see Rochester, I think of Jack Benny. Rochester. But for those of you that know who Jack Benny was. Anyway, handling of sexual misconduct accusations against a professor have sparked protests, calls for the resignation of top administrators, vows by alumni to stop donations, and even a hunger strike by one student that was in its 5th day on Monday. An attorney for 7 current and former faculty members and a graduate student say they are preparing for a federal court fight against the private university, claiming administrators mishandled allegations against Professor T. Florian Yeager, who was cleared of wrongdoing and then retaliated against them for reporting the behavior. They want a change in policies and apologies for how they were treated.
Oh, fuck them.
Quote, if we get a sense that that University of Rochester wants to play around and they don't want to settle, we will go into court and be ready to fight right away, attorney Ann Oliverius said Monday. Settle. Oh, so it's a money grab.
Yeah. Real quick.
They pay you off. Yeah. But
before we get too far away from it, Timothy Seelbeck said, nobody said they, DISD, were smart. Yeah, no. That if they're not ready to settle tells you all this is about.
Yes. Yeah, they are willing to stop it all for a payoff.
Give me money.
I appreciate their attorney being honest, which makes her a really bad attorney. But
no shit.
The Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission issued a, quote, right to sue notice for one of the 8 complainants, and decisions for the others are pending. Their identical complaint papers paint Yeager as a, quote, serial harasser in the university's Department of Brain and Cognitive Sciences, whose lack of boundaries potentially altered the career paths of at least 11 female students. Quote, he charmed, manipulated, and sometimes threatened them, becoming gatekeeper to important social and professional opportunities, the complaint says. He flaunted numerous sexual relationships in front of graduate students, used constant and overt sexual language, and behaved flirtatiously and overly familiarly. That is a word they put down. Is that I'm an English major, not an English expert. Is familiarly a word? With women students, yeah, it's the word familiar with ly at the end. Familiarly.
I'll look it up.
It is a word. Okay. With women students,
it is.
It just sounds awkward when I say it. With women students, including when he knew he was making the women feel unsafe. Faculty member Celeste Kidd said she was a graduate student recruit when Yeager began a lengthy pattern of inappropriate electronic and in-person exchanges. Quote, this is about university processes that are supposed to protect students who don't have the power to protect themselves failing, Kidd said Monday. Yeager said he could not comment because, well, yeah, exactly. It's like, if they don't decide to settle.
But at the same time, like, if this happens to you, which if this is actually happening, then that would absolutely be inappropriate conduct.
Mm-hmm.
Report it, you imbecile. Like, if a teacher is sending you, especially electronic communications, if they're sending you inappropriate messages, which, would be inappropriate, or trying to use, like, sex or something to get you to do stuff, and that's fucked up, report it. You have the messages.
Well, let's see. In 2016, 2 faculty members reported Yeager's behavior to administrators. During an investigation that ultimately exonerated Yeager, he was promoted to full professor. University President Joel Seligman said the investigation, which included interviews with more than 30 people, determined there was no evidence to support a finding that university policy had been violated. Quote, the general tone is to be very cynical about complaints, said Alyssa Newport, a former department chairwoman who left Rochester in 2012. Quote, I've heard them do this about student complaints. It's shocking to me that they're willing to do it about 7 faculty complaints. I can't even imagine how an individual student could manage through any of this. Well,
so there was already an investigation into this.
Since at least 2016, when 2 faculty members reported it, but this lady said there was at least 7.
And so presumably the school has seen the electronic communication?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, with the electronic communication, sorry.
Thank you, Weibo Jones. Monkey, is this what you wanted? I told her to speak English, and she did that in Greek lettering. Yeah, if you have like you said, turn it in if you have the electronic communication. And if you do, and it was that bad, especially in today's environment, I don't see the school erring on the side of the professor. I just don't.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the way that they make it sound is like the guy sending the messages saying something along the lines of like, I want to bend you over the table and like give you an A. And I feel like it's something that's how they're making it sound. Like,
no.
I'm gonna fuck your brains out until you ace this test. And it's like, all right. And I feel like if that's actually happening, they'd be like, oh, maybe this should be a stop.
See, if I was going to say I'm going to give you an A, that could be a double entendre for both a grade and anal.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. It's just
like if you want the A, I need it.
Yeah,
it just sounds like there's some sort of like sexual predation going on. And if that was actually happening, I'm pretty sure that they would do something about it. But then, like, I would actually like to see some of the, some of the supposed emails. And I bet you it's something like, hey, can you please come to my office so that we can discuss this?
Yeah, the fact that this all came down in 2016, which, I mean, now, if I'm not mistaken, the Mizzou stuff happened in 2014? 2014, 2015?
2015, I think.
2015, okay. So the role of schools, quote unquote, doing cover-ups. I mean, Mizzou wasn't about a sexual harassment thing, but just the tenor of private colleges and universities around the country, both with what happened at Mizzou, what happened with the lacrosse case. I mean, you think about anything where, UVA, anything that might seem like a conflict of interest or inappropriate conduct by a school administration official that was covered up. Now, I don't know this faculty. I don't know if they covered up something. I don't know if but it just seems weird to me that if, faculty members came to them and they looked into it and they couldn't find something actionable to jump on, that they didn't. Well, okay, but then here's the other thing. Why didn't you go to the police? Because if you have a professor sending sexually explicit stuff to students, I'm pretty sure that somewhere in there you could probably get a harassment or restraining order against the guy.
One of the complaints in there, though, was that he was keeping them from going to events.
Yeah, that part I don't get either. Like, he was intimidating them from, like, opportunities,
well,
social
I guess
and professional.
It would be like, you can be part of, like, this, I don't know, like this meeting with a bunch of, like, doctorate candidates or something. As long as you, like, show me your tits. I don't know. Like, that's what they make it sound like. And then it's like nothing like that's there. So it's like, what are you even talking about if none of that is happening?
Show me your tits club?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean spring break? What?
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, God.
Anyway.
It's another one of those times like we talked about yesterday with the banana. I'm not believing it. And the reason I'm not believing this one is schools today, especially with the Title IX thing, which is public universities, sure. I just don't see the school backing somebody who was actually doing that. They would have kicked his ass out and made a big deal over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, kicked him out and just kept it really, really quiet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, given the climate of today, they would want to, I mean, honestly, if the professor was doing something like that, it'd be screwed up and they should want to get rid of them anyway, but especially in today's climate.
Speaking of today's climate, I'm going to move on to MSS News because we're running out of time already because we're just big mouths like that. And that might have been a small note to the big mouth Netflix thing. I watched the preview of that.
God, the preview was horrible.
We'll talk about that shortly. But anyway, speaking of the climate, this one comes from senior staff reporter Jack Cochran. And I can't believe, well, no, actually I can believe it, but still some things just seem so dumb that it still makes me go, you got to be kidding me. Hobby Lobby cotton display goes viral for being racist.
Did you not see this the other day?
No.
I saw this morning.
It blew up on Twitter like 2 or 3 days ago, and it's so fucking stupid.
Craft store Hobby Lobby is taking serious heat for a store display that one woman is calling racist. On Thursday, Facebook user Danielle Ryder posted a photo to Hobby Lobby's Facebook page of a vase of cotton flowers displayed in a Texas store. She captioned it, quote, "This decor is wrong," capital letters, on so, capital letters, many levels. There is nothing decorative about raw cotton, a commodity which was gained at the expense of African American slaves. A little sensitivity goes a long way. Please remove this, capital letters, decor.
Yes, no cotton was ever picked until Negroes did it. Are you fucking kidding? Oh, God.
Well, yeah. I commented on Twitter, like, nobody tell her that we still use cotton.
Exactly. We still use fucking cotton.
Well, here's the thing. So here's one of the first responses to that. LOL, likely written by someone wearing a cotton t-shirt and cotton jeans and cotton underwear, wrote one Facebook user. Must not have thought of that one, though, wrote someone else. Quote, "This is crazy. Cotton is a fact of life," added one. "People still pick it. That happened 150 years ago. Slave also picked tobacco, harvested rice, and many other things. We can't just get rid of them." Well, Lowe's sells chains and rope. I think they should get rid of those too.
Do you think she avoids pads and tampons?
I don't know. Maybe she's a free bleeder.
Let's freaking hope not. You know what? The
those
other
are
thing,
cotton.
Is that
they call it a cotton cord
if we're
for a
gonna go
reason.
with the slavery thing, we should definitely not be eating anything with sugar because nothing was more brutal than a freaking sugar plantation.
Okay. So this one, I think. Oh, stop playing a video in my ear. Okay. This also comes from staff reporter Jack.
Quick. What? The Red Devil says, "I've picked cotton and I'm not black." I've actually picked cotton before.
I have too. We did it on a field trip. In 8th grade.
Aren't you offended?
I am. My mom made me do it. I didn't want to.
Oh my God, you were a slave?
I was.
It's sticky.
Jesus.
It's weird.
Let's see. So this comes from Jack Cochran. This is from Ohio. I'm assuming this is the name of a town. Boardman. Boardman dad's clown prank ends in child endangering charges.
Uh-oh.
Boardman, Ohio, yes. The age-old question of how to discipline a child led a Boardman man facing criminal charges after a unique attempt at discipline. Boardman's police say 25-year-old Vernon Barrett Jr. was charged late Saturday night after a prank, visions of Daddy 05 come to mind, on his 6-year-old daughter went wrong. Sergeant Chuck Hillman with Boardman Police says in his 28 years, quote, "This is the first time where a parent has done something like this," unquote. Just before 10:30 p.m., a woman called 911 saying that a small child was being chased by a man in a clown mask and the child had jumped into her vehicle. According to a police report, the woman later told officers that the man in the mask pulled the girl from the car. The girl then reportedly ran into an unlocked neighboring apartment and asked the family inside if she could stay there because a clown was chasing her.
That is fucked up.
Yeah, when officers went to check on the girl who was still hiding inside the apartment, they told her that it was just her father in the mask. However, according to the report, the girl was not reassured and ran into a back bedroom to hide. Quote, "She was very scared and alarmed even when the officers explained to her that it was her father. It still took her a while to calm down and regain her composure." 48-year-old, sorry.
I want to punch this guy.
Yeah, same.
48-year-old Dion Santiago, who lives in the apartment, told police that when the girl ran in, she turned off the lights, looked out the apartment window, and saw a man dressed in a clown mask on the lawn outside. According to the report, Santiago told officers that he grabbed his firearm and fired one gunshot out of the window. The report goes on to say that Santiago later told police officers that he had not pointed the gun at the man in the mask or into the air. Okay, so just like at the
So he pointed it like at the ground as like a warning.
Hopefully not like across the street or something. Police say they smelled alcohol on Santiago, who reportedly admitted to officers that he was drinking a few beers while watching a fight on TV when the girl came into his apartment. Barrett, who according to the report admitted to police that he was playing a prank on his daughter. The report says that Barrett told officers that the girl's mother is currently in jail for child endangering and that he could not discipline the girl because of past trauma. What?
You didn't discipline her because of past trauma, but you're going to scare the fucking shit out of the kid?
Like, the kid is, for one thing, never... This is the thing about pranking kids, though, is that if you do this, your kid's never going to trust you again. Nor should they, because you're a dick. But now she's, like, I mean, as if clowns aren't scary enough. Now she's going to have... She's old enough to have memories of this, you fucknut.
One thing that is most disturbing to detectives is that they say Barrett put his daughter's safety in jeopardy by pulling the prank and allowing her to run scared down the street. Quote, "He caused her to flee and run in a manner where she ran out in front of a vehicle and then ran into someone's apartment that she didn't even know. So the fortunate thing is the child wasn't injured."
It sounds like he thinks the only way to discipline a child is to scare the shit out of them or beat them. There's ways to discipline your child that I'm pretty sure would have been within any court structure.
Yeah, well, this guy obviously isn't working with all marbles. Barrett was arrested for child endangering and inducing panic. Meanwhile, officers also arrested Santiago for one charge of operating a firearm while intoxicated. Okay,
but like that's honestly that's a little, I don't know, that irritates me.
Let's see. Oh, and First Cynic also gave us that story. Thank you. Ooh, here we go. We'll do this.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
In regards to that. So if I'm like sitting around, okay, and drinking beer because I'm watching something on TV, and somebody breaks into my house, and I defend myself with a firearm, and am I going to get in trouble for that? Because I mean, from the guy in the apartment's perspective,
he fired a. Here's the thing: if he had actually fired at the father, he probably would have been in less trouble, because you cannot just fire a warning shot in the middle of a fucking city. You can't.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, he would have to justify firing in self-defense or something else. And if somebody breaks into your home, your right to defend yourself trumps, even if you had been drinking and doing something in your own home by yourself and like not bothering anybody, and then somebody breaks in, you're not going to get in trouble for defending yourself while intoxicated because you're defending yourself. But this guy was intoxicated, discharged a weapon into a public square without being able to articulate that he was under threat at the time. There's a guy standing out on his lawn in a mask. That's creepy, but not enough to shoot somebody. At least not at that point. So anyway,
at that point, he was calling the police.
Yeah, he was being reckless.
No, people are pointing out that it will depend on your state and definitely your country.
Yes.
There's a lot of countries that are a bunch of fucking pussies who don't like guns at all. So, but in this case, yeah, discharging a firearm out your window randomly, not a good idea.
Okay, let's finish up with this one. I don't know if you'd already heard this one, but this one's for SDA specifically and comes to us from First Cynic. And so stop me if you'd already heard this one. Feminists attack Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes for funding white supremacy.
Fucking excuse you?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Get your pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks while you can. If a feminist group gets its way, this favorite fall drink will disappear along with Starbucks from many hotels across the country. Ultraviolet, which bills itself as a leading national women's organization, never heard of it, has launched a new ad campaign targeting Starbucks for continuing to financially support President Trump and the Trump organization by maintaining stores in Trump hotels and properties including a Trump Tower in New York City and Trump Hotel in Washington, D.C. So they're boycotting Starbucks in general, not just pumpkin spice lattes. That was just
well, how dare you come after pumpkin spice lattes as if they ever did anything bad to you? All they did was bring joy, into the world. How dare you?
To all the boys and girls, to the fishes in the blue sea.
Absolutely.
Joy to you and me. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a great part about this story. I don't know about the one you're reading, but the one I read, they never actually explain how it's racist.
Oh, well, here it is. It's right here.
Please.
Ultraviolet charges that the president is racist and defends white supremacists and neo-Nazis. To garner support, they released a Twitter ad. Ultraviolet. That favorite fall drink of yours is funding rent payments to white supremacy. Pumpkin spice is back. Proceeds are funding racism in the White House. Learn more at weareultraviolet.org/Trump Tower.
But how?
Yeah, get fucked.
Well, I want to learn more, so I'm going to go to Ultraviolet.
Please do, because the other article I read about this, they even mentioned in the article, they don't say how. Because they just say Trump is in the White House, pumpkin spice, racist. They don't explain the connection.
All right, well, here we go. Reject Donald Trump and his embrace of white supremacists. End your leases at Trump Tower and other properties. So what they're saying is that because Starbucks exists in properties owned by Donald Trump, they pay rent to Donald Trump. Therefore, Starbucks funds white supremacy because Donald Trump is the grand wizard of the KKK.
Yeah, well, that ain't the pumpkin spice fault, okay? Like, you need to hop off your freaking high horse and hop off the pumpkin spice because pumpkin spice is super important to the world.
To white girls.
And it's like, next thing you're going to tell me that like they're going to go after Uggs too, which would just be, I would have an aneurysm.
Well, we have a scientific explanation in chat from MCRN Doniger. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Okay.
Pumpkin equals orange equals Trump equals white supremacist drink. That's science right there.
All right. Well, there you go. That was all the news that's fit to print.
Let's move on to YouTube time because we got a lot of ads to do.
Oh yeah, we do.
So, SDA, do you want to go first?
I was at the doctor and sleeping all day. So.
Are you feeling any better?
A tiny bit. I went to the doctor because my symptoms are basically I hurt everywhere, I keep getting dehydrated, and I have cycles of fevers. Pregnant. The only thing we've got is maybe menopause. So
pregnant.
I'm not pregnant.
She sat on a toilet seat I'd been to.
Oh, monkey. So they're having to do
porcelain
blood
donut
tests
baby
to figure out what the crap is wrong with me. Because nobody knows. So,
well, yeah. I hope you feel better.
Mm.
I will go next. I didn't do anything except for laugh at some of the comments I got. A couple of people on my last video tell me I was way too hard on women. One told me I sounded like a MGTOW.
What?
Yeah, my last video apparently is a very MGTOWian video.
MGTOWian.
I also had a comment from somebody who visits chat here. So if you're here, hi. That girl wearing glasses told me that the red dress wasn't meant to show off that lady's titties. And to that, because a couple of people made comments like that. That dress wasn't that bad. I wasn't suggesting that her dress was horrible, but if your neckline stops at the same, you can draw a line straight over to your nipples. That dress is made to complement your titties. You will notice no male CNN anchor has ever worn something that shows that far down on their chest. Sanguine, thank you. The first toilet-born bastard confirmed. Not yet. He hasn't been born.
No, I'm not pregnant.
Sure. Yet. But there were just a couple of those comments that made me laugh because I didn't think I was really hard on women. I thought I was pretty specific in what I was talking about.
I'm really hard on women if they let me.
In video?
Yeah, I haven't got. I don't have a Pornhub account yet.
Okay.
Yet.
Base Mama says I believe in boobs. If I were you, I would too.
They're there.
The power of anatomy.
Yeah. Power.
But yeah, apparently I'm MGTOWian, so.
Yeah. So you're a monkey going your own way, you say?
I am indeed.
All right.
As long as my wife lets me. What about you?
Okay, so a good chunk of my day was writing ads, and I did several ads that were requested essentially as sort of like jokes. I did one ad for Sylvanas that's specifically for a real product, but I have to wait to read it because she wants to have my reading of it coincide with some things she's arranging for that product, so I'll wait on that. In addition to all that, I did find time, because a video jumped out at me, to write a script and started the process of editing and putting everything together. Vox.com has put out another gem, a gem of media criticism that I just could not help myself but to comment on. So I'm working on that. That might take a couple of days because there's some complexity to it. I actually have to reach back to one of my first videos to grab a segment that I did in that video that covers something they claim in this video. Because I was like, I'm too lazy to try to recreate all that stuff. So I'm just going to go back to when my mic was awful and my audio sucked and put that into a new video just for the hell of it. But anyway, the main event of my efforts for today. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go down the list one by one. I'm going to read off the gist of the request as usual, and then do the ad. So in no particular order except those that ended up me writing them out. Here we go. Sanguine requested a sexploitation movie set in the Middle East circa 700 AD. So I had to look up what the hell was going on in the Middle East in 700 AD.
Oh, real quick, speaking of Sanguine, thank you, Sanguine. Is it truly outrageous, though, Scribe?
Well, it's not Gem and the Holograms truly outrageous, but it is a gem. And it is not gem dropping. For those of you that have followed my videos in the last couple of days, it is not a gem dropping, but man, Vox just, oh, it's so irritating. Anyway, here we go. What was going on in 700 AD? Technically, this is not taking place in the Middle East, but hey, this is the best I could do to try to be historically accurate. Mariana was a pampered princess of Hispania in 712 AD until the Umayyad Caliphate conquered her homeland and seized her as a prize. Forced to degrade herself as a common whore, Mariana bided her time and played on the passions of her captors until she could get her revenge. Now she's loose in the palace, thirsty for revenge and armed with a scimitar. Watch the downfall, experience the savagery, taste the lust. See Caliphatin Dreaming, the Hispania Hustle, a Sanguine production.
I like the title.
Okay, the next one was Sanguine as well. He wanted a job listing for Sanguine Industries. So now it's good that I read that first ad first, because then it'll easily flow into this one. Here at Sanguine Industries, our first priority is complexity. We strive to provide our clients with the most convoluted and confusing to use products on the market today. And we're looking for new team members to make our clients' lives more difficult. Do you have ADHD? Think in circles? Enjoy smashing together unrelated words and ideas into any other context that would be called intersectional hogwash? Then you could be exactly what we need. So apply today using our 72-page application form. You have 10 minutes to complete it as soon as this advertisement ends. Sanguine Industries. We're here to frustrate you.
Intersectional hogwash. Well played.
Okay, Zenith then requested a board game similar to the one shown in RoboCop, and I had to look this up. It was a board game called Nukem. Oh, is Lady Monkey going to bed?
Yeah, she doesn't feel good. She has a headache.
Oh, bye, Lady Monkey.
Hey, baby.
Bye, Lady Monkey.
Everybody says bye.
So the game in RoboCop was called Nukem, and it was basically, it looked like a battleship thing, except it had to do with like nuclear proliferation.
Oh, okay.
So I made up my own version, and apparently the cops are coming after me now. It's the joys of living next to a highway patrol office. All right, here we go. Russian arms proliferation, North Korean nuclear threats, Middle Eastern conflicts. Now you can experience all the fun and excitement of global warfare with Saber Rattle, the all-new board game that's fun for the whole family. Choose your rogue nation state, position your forces, and get ready to make threats of massive casualties until the other players break or retaliate. Fun for the whole family. I said that already, right? Saber Rattle by Zenith Brothers.
I want to be North Korea.
Yeah, I figured it's so.
But you'll lose.
Yeah.
Not so far.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Okay, the next one on the list was Jonathan Malone's ad, just as a note, but that is a project. Okay, next one was Weibo. Weibo Jones asked for a Powerpuff Girl ad using the phrase, "She's back, she's black, and ready to attack." So here's my promo for the new departed now, maybe come back character on Powerpuff Girls. Get ready for diversity. When failed experiment Blistina returns to Townsville from the limbo dimension of retcon, the Powerpuff Girls must confront a previously unwritten past. She's back, she's black, and she's ready to attack. What explosive revelations will be shoehorned into the Powerpuff legacy? Find out this season on Nartoon Set Work. So I don't get sued for like copyright.
Indeed, yes.
There you go.
I hope there's an episode where she comes back and fights them all because they're too white.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Oh, I didn't note who said this or who requested this. Oh, shit. Let me get that. Sorry, real quick. I wrote down the ad request. I didn't write down the person who asked for it because I'm... okay, it was Eric. My apologies. Eric requested this. He wanted racist Uber Eats. Uber Eats being a food delivery service in response to the bananas on the door handle story.
Yes.
I changed the name so to avoid any conflicts, but here we go. Is the grocery store being 5 blocks away just too inconvenient? Do you have an ethnic neighbor who's just asking to be racially insulted? Then you need Fubar Eats, the online delivery service that caters to your every biased crime need. Just enter into our Handley online form the race, ethnicity, religion, or orientation of the person you're targeting, and Fubar Eats will leave a custom food item that can be construed as an insult on their front door handle. Let someone know you're thinking about them with intense hatred with Fubar Eats, an Eric Corporation.
That just made me think, other than blacks, are there people that are associated negatively with maybe Chinese and rice?
Oh, you calling them racist?
Yeah, They're racist.
Racist.
Hey, guys, I'm starting to hurt really bad.
Oh, okay.
Oh, go lay down, lady.
Yeah, go lay down.
So I'm gonna, yeah.
Okay, feel better.
Hope you feel better.
Get some sleep.
Yeah, we'll try to do it on my channel tomorrow night. We'll just see how I'm doing. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye. Feel better.
Okay, the next one. This was a tough one. Chaos Eve requested an ad for a gay Muslim dating service.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
I'm going to mute myself for a second so you can read it.
All right. Are you single, LGBT, and Allah about Islam? Does looking for love have you legitimately terrified? Well, look no further, because falling in love has never been easier. You just need to throw caution to the wind before your heart hits rock bottom. Introducing Leap of Faith, the new online dating and date matching site for LGBT Muslims. Our proprietary algorithm and completely discreet profile process will help to make sure your love takes flight and never crashes and burns. So go on, take a leap of faith today. A Chaos Eve Corporation.
Oh my God. That was a good one. That was really good.
I got two more. All right. Captain Brambles requested a random product. Yes, you did.
Thank you, Sanguine. I think you mean Chinese and dog cats. Isn't that more Korean?
Yeah, I think that was a Korean stereotype.
Well, Korean dogs, Chinese cats.
Okay. Oh, wait. We are Siamese, if you please.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But you can't really hang a cat from a door handle. That's just disgusting.
You're right. That is. But you could. Anyway, so Captain Brambles asked for a random product, and I didn't think that this thing actually existed until it showed up on the random product generator, but it is a thing that exists. So here we go. Do you love pancakes? Do you love pancakes made with the exacting accuracy of an AutoCAD drafting machine? Then you need Captain Brambles' Pancake Bot Pancake Printer. This proprietary batter dispensing system will draw your perfect customized pancake onto a built-in non-stick griddle. Make intricate Eiffel Tower pancakes, pancakes of frightened children, even pancakes in the shape of pancakes. You can do it all and eat it all with Captain Brambles' Pancake Bot Pancake Printer. And I'm not kidding, that is a thing you can buy.
Pancake printer.
It looks like a 3D printer or like an AutoCAD system. It's a mini little thing with a griddle. You put the batter in the top and it draws out whatever you've programmed into it. They showed on the...
like something that would only really be worth getting if you had like a catering business.
Yeah, if you do, I mean, I suppose if that's something you can do. But yeah, the picture had an Eiffel Tower actually drawn out in pancake batter, very exacting. So,
okay,
there you go. Yeah, that is a real thing. So if you're really interested, you can look up pancake or pancake bot, all one word, on Amazon. All right, and the
pancake shaped pancakes. Shut up and take my money.
Oh man. Okay, and this last one is technically for a real thing. And Monkey, I'm going to give you the link to this to put in the description if you wouldn't mind when the time comes.
Sure.
Adam R. requested another ad for the Minions of the Zoo, which is a live stream that takes place, I believe, after hours on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Have you ever wondered what the Lords of the Night chat denizens would sound like if they could talk? Well, wonder no more. The Minions of the Zoo Night Stream is a rotating cavalcade of characters and personalities whose names might be familiar, but whose articulated thoughts are a wonder to behold. Platty, Polly, Pop-Tart, Punisher, Reject, Inquisitor, Fritz, Sanguine, Rev, Adam, Eeyore, and many, many, many more. With conversation streams 6 days a week and a game night stream on Saturdays, it is always feeding time at the zoo. Check the link Check the link in the description and subscribe today. Minions of the Zoo, an Adam R. project.
Well done. Yeah, shoot me the link. I'll throw it in there.
Sure. I apologize for fumbling at the end there, but you see, this is what happens. I'm so exacting when I'm reading my scripts that if I make a spelling error, like I leave it in because it's notepad and doesn't correct me, my tongue will fumble over as my eyes try to read the word, and I just
those are good ads, very good ads.
All right, so I will I'll throw it into the stream chat. So anyway, that's all the ads right now. I have one for Sylvanas that I'm holding off on until she can get some things squared away with her real life product. And the Jonathan Malone Super Lords of the Night ad is, like I say, it'll be an ongoing project that I want to get right. So I will make sure everybody gets is updated on that as it proceeds. So there we are, and that was all of my ads.
Okay, now we got to get to the point where I make my title relevant.
Oh yeah, so is it deep topic time?
Well, kind of. It's just it's a story that happened today that I found interesting. Did you see Nancy Pelosi's what's it called? Press conference? Well, it wasn't really a press conference. She was it was a talk she was giving, and Dreamers came in and just fucked it all up.
No, this completely avoided me. What happened?
Well, basically what I just described there. I'm sorry, I'm putting the link in the chat as we're talking. I'm done.
Oh, here, let me find a story on it so we can give a breakdown.
Sure. Yeah, she was giving a talk, a presser, something like that, and a group of Dreamers came in and started chanting at her and calling her a liar.
Ooh.
And yeah.
Okay, I found a story on it. 1 second.
Yeah, if you want to read it, that's cool.
Yeah, well, it's loading up a video because. Okay, news stations, if I wanted to watch video, I'd look up a video channel. I don't want to watch it if I'm going to the article. I want to read the fucking article. Okay.
I hate that there's video on everything now.
Yeah.
I like
or at least give you the option to at least not have to watch it, or don't autoplay it. Just don't autoplay it. I don't care if it's there, that's fine. Just don't. Anyway. Demonstrators shut down Pelosi at San Francisco Dream Act event. And this happened today. San Francisco, a vocal group of undocumented youths and their supporters drowned out House Minority Nancy Pelosi. How about House Minority Leader there, CBS? House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi Monday at a news conference where she was calling for the immediate passage of the DREAM Act. Okay, so she was advocating for the DREAM Act to be passed, which would effectively take DACA and make it law.
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, the DREAM Act goes a little further than even DACA does.
Right. So as long as we're on the same page there. The event began calmly with a smiling Pelosi at the podium surrounded by Congresswoman Barbara Lee and Congressman Jared Huffman, community leaders, and other dreamers. Quote, "Our nation's dreamers are an inspiration to all of us," she said. "With their courage and their patriotism, they embody the promise of America, of the American dream. Make America dream again," Pelosi said to applause from the partisan crowd. But then, a group stormed in, chanting, carrying a large banner and individual signs. Quote, "We undocumented youth demand a clean bill. We undocumented youth demand that you do not sell out our community and our values. We undocumented youth will not be a bargaining chip for Trump." Many of the demonstrators carried signs reading, "Democrats are deporters." Well, Obama did do that, it's true. And so did every other president prior, because being in the country illegally is a crime.
Yes.
Pelosi unsuccessfully attempted to calm down the chanting students. Quote, "You've had your say, and it's beautiful music to our ears," Pelosi said. But when they interrupted her again, she shouted, "Just stop it now." Yeah. Moments later, she was forced to leave the news conference. Meanwhile, in San Francisco federal court, do you mean in a San Francisco federal court? I mean, I don't know how many there are in San Francisco, but 6 immigrants brought to the United States as children who became teachers, graduate students, and a lawyer sued the Trump administration on over it. Okay, CBS San Francisco. Are you a subsidiary of CNN? Holy shit. Okay, I'll try. I'm going to read it as it's written. And a lawyer sued the Trump administration on over its decision to end a program shielding them from deportation. It's not over yet. You've got 6 months, and they're probably going to pass something. And if they don't, he's going to review it, which probably means he'll just let it stand, which is counterproductive.
Real quick, thank you, Sir Wolfgang. Please tell me someone called ICE.
Oh, man, would it be so? The lawsuit filed in federal court in San Francisco alleges the move violated the constitutional rights of immigrants who lack legal status and provided information about themselves to the United States government so they could participate in the program. No, you had no constitutional rights in regards to this because that's why DACA was put in place by Obama, because you didn't have these protections under the Constitution. It was shoehorned into existence by presidential fiat.
Yep.
You are not your constitutional rights, which you have zippo, say for those that are afforded any visitor to this country, legal or otherwise, have not been violated because you're not here legally. Mm. And yes, you may indeed be the victims of your parents' bad choices. And indeed, you may deserve, in my compassionate sense of justice, a little leeway in being able to establish yourselves despite your parents' bad choices. However, that is still under review, and you do not have what you do not have. Good God, these so patriotic. So, God, they're going to be model citizens. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, the own laws that they're trying to argue against. They're looking for protection under the law while they're in active violation of it. And I'm not even just talking about the kids who came here unbeknownst to their own whims. Okay, I'm talking more about the people who are their parents or the people who are of age when they come across the border and they complain that somehow they need protection while actively violating and ignoring the laws that they now seek protection from.
Plus, you have to remember that it doesn't stop with the DACA kids, and it never has. The Obama administration also tried pushing through for their parents. Yes. Now, I agree with you. The kids who came through, there's a part of me that's like, you know what, we should figure something out for them because it's not their fault.
Right.
But their parents, it's absolutely their fucking fault, and they need to go back to where they're from. It doesn't stop with just the kids. The kids is just to pull on that emotional lever. I
was thinking about this the other day. I was like, if a parent got their 5-year-old to take a gun and shoot somebody, you wouldn't hold the 5-year-old accountable. You would hold the parent accountable for making use of their child in the commission of a crime, right? And so, and the logic and the whole idea of it still carries over to this. If you're brought over to this country by your parents who you have no idea not to trust, they bring you over and you don't know the difference between Mexico and America or the laws or anything else. And then, 10 years later, you find out, oh, I don't have a social security number. I'm not supposed to be here. Well, then you have maybe like a span of 5 or 10 years or something in which you can then take action to correct that. Now, in order to do that, yes, you're going to have to register somewhere to start the process of either gaining citizenship or residency or a work permit or whatever else. And by doing so, you are indeed, by implication, telling the world, and especially the government, that your parents are here illegally and are criminals. Unfortunately, that is your parents' fault.
Yep.
Okay? This is the part that they seem to be leaving out every time they complain about, oh, we have to register and somehow our community is going to be... No. Your community, those members of it that came to this country illegally, put themselves in this position, and you trying to do right by yourself and take care of yourself, if that puts them into danger, it's not your fault, and it is their fault. And it's not the government's fault, it is their fault.
Well, the other part of this is Nancy Pelosi, in that she said, they keep mentioning patriotism, their patriotism. How many times have we seen people, protesting about this shit, carrying the Mexican flag? I'm failing to see the patriotism of that part. That never gets talked about when this shit comes up. That, yes, there's a lot of them who want to integrate into the United States, and there's a lot of them who are just a little too proud of that in Mexico they don't want to go back to.
Yeah. See, I have, and I've said this before, I have personal friends and I have coworkers who jumped through all the hoops. They took all the tests, they waited 10 years, or they did whatever they had to do to come over here to work legally and get their visa or get their green card or become a citizen and go through all that stuff. And, when somebody plays by the rules and goes to all the effort necessary to come here legitimately, I can look at that person, doesn't matter where they came from, and I can say, at least in the effort that they took, that is someone who I have no problem with standing side by side as a citizen. someone who tries to cheat, someone who is effectively a trespasser, someone who puts their own children under threat because of their choice to come here against the rules, I'm sorry. You might be a human, and I will, by all means, extend to you and fight for your ability to have your day in court in an immigration hearing and everything else. People who are here that shouldn't be here deserve a hearing. They deserve due process. There will never be a time where I say otherwise. But regardless, you knew the risks, and you have to accept the consequences. Running to the cover of the law, spit on by coming here and cheating and smacking the face of anyone who played by the rules, you've already lost points in my eyes. And I don't know what else to say. I get sympathy for the kids, parents, not much.
Thank you, Sanguine. The problem with that metaphor, Scribe, is that they are continuing to do so after finding out. So it would be like if your parents turn you the 7 bells and you never stop picking pockets.
Well, if they choose not to do anything about it, and this is the difference. I mean, if you find out at 15 that you're not here legally, and then by the time you turn 18, when you are a full-fledged adult, and by all legal rights, you're effectively independent of your parents, if you don't make a choice to go to the effort to do something about that within, what do they have it like between 18 and 25 or something? Holy cats.
Wow. Thank you, Perfect Pitch. Hi, Monkey and Scribe. Been watching your show for months and looking forward to every morning. I live in France, so you're normally about finished when I wake up and can listen to the playback. A perfect start to my day. Here's to keeping it up. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's
wow.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. France. I mean, I don't know. Somehow that seems more luxurious than just the UK. No offense to UK stuff. Sorry. No offense, UK. Irate Bear and the rest of it's fine. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He just said the French are better than the English. I want to throw that out there.
Well, I mean, luxurious. I didn't say better. Fancier.
They're fancy. Okay. I don't think you're making it any better.
No, I'm really not. My tongue is a shovel and I dig a hole.
What he really means is that since we're Americans and the French helped us so much in the beginning, he has.
Yes. The Statue of Liberty, we still have that thing. Yes. We still think it's cool. Thank you, France. Anyway, like I was saying, yeah, the parents, if you're coming, like I've seen so many times people saying, okay, I came to this country because I'm running from violence in my home country, whether it's like Mexico or Honduras or Guatemala, whatever. Almost 2 or 1 of these stories that I see profiled, and I just did a video on one for Sinatra's channel. Mm-hmm. The lady in question, she said, my family was under threat by gangs in, I believe it was Honduras, and I ran here looking to get away from the violence. She came here in 2006, and she was caught in 2016, and then she applied for asylum.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no. And then when she was asked like, well, why didn't you apply for asylum before now? And she said, well, because I didn't have enough information and I was afraid of getting deported. And so I say, so you ran from the country where the danger was because you didn't want to go back there, but you come to a country where you don't belong, but you don't apply for asylum and thus risk being sent back to the country where the danger is.
Well, here's another question. Your point is very, very good. But how come all of these people who are running from this violence end up here?
Mm-hmm.
Mexico doesn't have a huge problem because they don't let people across their fucking border unless they're letting them come all the way up here.
Yeah, that was something that I meant. I thought of that after I'd done the video. I thought to make that point too. It's like, okay, especially in the case of the one I was talking about in the Sinatra thing, they were coming from, again, it was either Guatemala or Honduras, I forget. But they were like, I'm trying to escape the danger in that country. And I'm like, okay, well, why didn't you stop in Mexico, or why didn't you stop in any other country? Why did you make it all the way to Texas and then move over to Florida, looking to escape? I mean, why wasn't Mexico safer than Honduras? Oh, probably because I don't know why.
Or why
your logic doesn't make any sense.
All the way up to Canada.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Want to go even further north, which is probably even safer because Canada will probably Justin Trudeau will probably, give you a roof over your head and a hand job if you show up and say I'm escaping violence or something. Anyway, I mean, we could go on this forever, and I could say the same thing 5 times. But
if you haven't seen the video of Nancy Pelosi getting shut down, you should watch it. It's funny as hell. And then there's another clip of her afterwards because she was interviewed by the news, where she sucks up to these kids, the ones who just shut her down. She sucks right up to them. She says she thinks they were wrong, but she is a premier politician. She really is.
Well, but it's the same story, but on the reverse side of it. Why were they protesting her? I mean, she's been for the DREAM Act forever. What exactly was it? What was their logic? I still don't get it.
It wasn't in the story that you read, but they are opposing the idea of her working with Trump.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Have you heard of pragmatism, you idiots?
Well, there's real quick. Thank you, Captain Brambles. DACA was put into effect in 2012. 5 years is more than enough time to get on the path of citizenship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know how old these kids were, though. I mean, the ones in the protesters today could have been, who knows, 5 years ago.
Bottom end of that. If they were at the bottom end of it, they would be in their early 20s now, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
Or I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. So there's a theory out there that Pelosi is going to give Trump the wall in order for the DREAM Act to pass.
Right. Not going to happen.
And
the Democrats won't okay that.
After the lunch that or whatever it was that Pelosi and Schumer were at with Trump, what did they come out and say? No wall.
Right.
So I don't know where it's coming from, but yeah, there's a lot of people pissed off because they think that Pelosi is going to go ahead and approve the wall.
Fernanda in chat says, because Mexico treats illegals worse than you would. I would believe that. I don't know that for a fact, but I could certainly believe it.
Well, do you remember the case of the Marine who accidentally crossed the border? They had his ass in jail for months until Obama finally got pressured enough to say, "Oh yeah, we should probably ask about that."
I don't remember it. I don't distrust you now.
Oh yeah, it was near the end of his last term. I can't remember if he was an active. I don't think he was active Marine because we would have taken much more immediate, action. But he had been a Marine. He was wandering around and happened to cross the border. He wasn't like going to Mexico to live there. Yeah, they locked his ass up, just threw him in jail.
So this protest thing, I mean, we were talking last night about sort of the pathological hatred of Trump. Anything that he touches turns to shit, even if it's something that could inevitably benefit you. So, when I heard that Trump was negotiating with the Democrats, at first I didn't even know what he was negotiating with them on. All I saw was like Chuck Schumer was like all happy and shaking his hand or whatever, had his hand on his shoulder in that picture. And I was thinking,
did you hear about the hot mic moment?
Oh, I read that story on the air. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But I mean, as soon as I saw that, like I said, I didn't even know what they were talking about at first. I just saw the headline and the picture. But I thought, thank fucking God somebody finally did. I mean, I don't even know what they're negotiating about. But if Chuck Schumer's smiling at Trump, that means that they just had a negotiation about something, and maybe something will happen. I don't even know what they're talking about. Let's find out. And I was like, oh, it's about DACA, this, that, and the other thing. I was like, well, that's going to piss off the Republicans for sure. But maybe it'll actually kick something into gear so we can finally settle this one way or the other. That's all I was happy about. And then, but that's the thing. You have to be pragmatic. It's like, I don't care how something gets done, just that it gets done. If it's got Trump's signature on it or Nancy Pelosi's, I don't care. The end result is the ends justify the means in that sense,
This is something that amuses me, and I'm going to pick on righties for a little bit. The right loves Ronald Reagan. He's their god.
Saint Ronnie.
Ronald Reagan never had a conservative Congress. Everything he got passed, if you like anything he did, it was done with a Democratic signature on it. And the way he did that was by working with them, by making deals, by going, okay, give me this and I'll give you that.
Yeah.
That's how compromise is supposed to work.
Yes.
It's not supposed to be the Obama idea of compromise where it's, I won the election, you have to give me everything I want. And I'm not just saying that's just him. He just really, he made no bones about it. He actually said that out loud. I won. Fuck you. That's not how the government works, dumbass.
Yeah. You know who the probably maybe next to Reagan, not sure if I could say better than, but close to, the next in line for greatest negotiator or backroom dealer was probably LBJ. That guy knew how to twist an arm to get something done, because between Medicare and the Civil Rights Act and everything else, LBJ got shit done, even though he's not looked upon very favorably because of Vietnam. That guy got a lot of things done that would if you thought today that you could see a Democratic president against a Republican Congress get done healthcare and a Civil Rights Act all within one presidency. Holy shit! That sounds like it sounds like the golden goose. There's no way. But man, that guy did it. And that's what you have to do. This is, God, I don't understand why everybody comes into these offices thinking that we're on a team. I mean, yes, okay, you're on a political party. Sure, you're supposed to be there in opposition of each other. There's supposed to be conflict. There's supposed to be checks and balances. You're a check against the balance of the other party, which we have a two-party system, from having all the power or having all the ability to make all the decisions all the time. That doesn't mean you make no decisions. That doesn't mean you do nothing. That means you're a check, not a barrier.
Thank you, Sanguine. He did it by making deals in the nude.
Well, he did it. Some deals he made while sitting on the toilet. So yeah, that too.
Guys, we are opening it up to chat. I am still going to comment on the story though. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, things you want us to address, now's the time to throw it in chat.
Tonight. I am really worked up tonight, aren't I?
Jesus. It's fun to see.
Damn.
I love Reagan. I do. I don't agree with everything he did, but I've mentioned this before. In my lifetime, he was the greatest politician I've seen. Second, or the only one that's close would be Clinton, who did the same thing. Clinton was the first Democrat in a long time, 48 years actually, to face an entire Republican Congress.
Right.
And he still got shit done, because what both of these two guys understood is that if you want to be remembered, and Clinton was notorious for wanting his legacy to matter.
Yes.
Is that you have to get shit done. And in order to get shit done, you do have to go into negotiations. And what negotiations have turned to in modern politics is just trying to get the other party to come agree with you, rather than, hey, let's make a deal. We saw this with Obama and Obamacare. He even had to do it with his own party, where he's just like, okay, I'll give you favors. That's not the same thing. Giving favors is not the same thing as making a compromise.
Right.
That's buying somebody off.
Yeah.
Base Mama said, Clinton sucked balls and vagina. As a politician, though, and no matter what you want to say about the guy, as a politician, he was fucking excellent. If you look at what happened, anything that the Republican Congress gets credit for, Clinton deserves credit for too. The balancing of the budget, which never happened, as close as they got, it was because they went into deal mode. They wanted to get shit done because both of them wanted to claim that they got shit done. And now it's almost like they want to claim they didn't.
Right. Yeah.
They're more interested. I stopped that than we did this. And fuck them.
The presidents, I mean, if somebody gets into the highest office and they're one of those people that truly wants to leave footprints in the sands of time, they have to compromise. First off, you have to set a goal so high. This is why I was like, for Obama, I was amazed he didn't come out and first say single payer, because if he had set the goal, like I say, if he shot for the moon, then in compromise you'd probably get over the mountains, which is a hell of a lot more than if you just sort of lowballed it. So the fact that he didn't tells me that he didn't have the boldness and the courage that everybody was voting for him for. Because even if you disagree with that, the tactic itself is what you need to do, because you have to start a negotiation by asking for more than you're going to get. And then you move downward to where you probably expected to be in the first place, but you have to start up high.
I want to address this from Zenith in chat. Zenith says, I don't like big government, so I prefer things don't get done. I don't like big government, but at this point, if you want smaller government, something has to get done, because it is so bloated due to law right now.
Yeah, the balance has to be struck, and in order to reduce the government, decisions actually have to be made. So you can't have, because gridlock will just keep things where they're at, or it'll get bigger because the guys in power will not negotiate with the guys out of power and just do whatever they want and grow their portion of stuff until they're out of power again, and then it'll just be a back and forth forever. So yeah.
And if you take a look at Reagan, Reagan won 84 by such it was a fucking landslide, just a political ass whipping. And a large part of that, and people forget this, is the negotiations he did. He was a beneficiary of women came really full into the workforce at the end of the 70s and the early 80s, and there was a huge unemployment problem in the early 80s. But a large part of that was how many women had entered the workforce. Once that settled down, the economy boomed, and that was a big part of his reelection. But it was also because of the things that he got done, things that he had promised. This is what the Republicans in Congress are missing right now. Oh, thank you so much, Kaga Mendoa. Have to wake early, excuse me, let me try that again. Have to wake up early, so going to call it early. Have a good night. Good night to you too, and thank you so much for the donation.
Good. Yeah, thank you.
But what the Republicans have to realize is playing it safe is not going to cut it anymore, because this happened to Bush in the first term. This happened to Obama in the first term. It happened to Clinton in the first term. When you have a Congress and the White House and you don't get shit done, it blows up in your face. So the Republicans for the last 6 years have been able to play we just can't get shit done because we don't have the White House. Now you do. And when people see Trump trying to get shit done, trying to work with the Democrats, and all you guys are going, well, we can't because they're Democrats, that's gonna fuck you guys.
Yeah, then you're the dreamers at the Nancy Pelosi rally.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's like here's the thing: all the politicians who are not president, no matter what happens, the president is going to get the credit. Okay, yeah. No matter what happens in history, no one's going to be looking at the representative from South Carolina when it comes to the Civil Rights Act or anything else, unless you are standing next to the president when he signs the thing and you advocated for it and were a champion for it. You will not be part of that history. If you want to be part of that history, you have to take a stand, you have to make a decision, and you have to be part of getting something done.
Jacob Jett has a comment here. I'm not really political and I'm only 17, but from what I've seen, it seems like negotiations in politics today come down to not wanting to be seen as agreeing with the opposing side. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's the guilt by association, the fear that somehow if you're seen shaking hands with someone from the other side, that will immediately taint any future you have in politics, because that shows that you don't have any party loyalty, or that you're willing to compromise. And compromise is a sin with the hardliners who say that anything on the other side of the aisle is just basically blasphemy. And I'm not talking about, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about left or right. If you're a Republican and you're on the Democratic side, it's evil. The Republicans are just evil, racist, bigots, da-da-da-da-da. If you're a Republican looking at the liberals, they're like, oh, bleeding heart, weak,
idiot.
Whatever.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're stupid, da-da-da. And,
those are the teams. It's evil versus idiots.
And I look, and it really bugs me. I look back at, you ever watch the Ken Burns documentary on the Civil War?
I don't know if I have.
Okay, well, if you ever do, and granted, the documentary picks out some of the more historically poignant letters and speeches and everything else. But I think about how politicians were in the olden days. I mean, these were like learned men, academics, lawyers, people who actually knew stuff. Philosophers. Well-read people who quote Chaucer and Shakespeare and the Bible and I just think, God, where did the quality go in the people that are supposed to be leaders in this country? We get guys, and I understand, the common man should have every chance as anybody else to get up to the highest office, and sometimes, I said, I hate the phrase career politician, but man, I would like some smart politicians. I would like some pragmatic politicians. I'd like people to get up there that say, you know what, I'm here to help the country first, not myself. But I'm just an idealist. I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
Mr. United for the Children, you're wrong about that quote. He says Reagan's reply to the question about age in the '84 Mondale race was, "I won't hold that against my opponent's youth and inexperience against him." That was actually in response to George Bush, wasn't it? During the campaign, the '80 primary. I know he used that line in the '80 primary. So maybe he used it again in Mondale. So
let's see.
Nope. Thank you. On the bright side, there haven't been duels. You know, there was a time there's his name was, I think, Lyons. He was a representative who beat another man on this, I think it's the Senate floor.
No, it was Mondale.
Oh, was it Mondale? Okay. I stand corrected.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience, Ronald Reagan quipped during the 1984 presidential debates when asked if, at 73, he was too old to be president. He even got a laugh from Walter Mondale. Yep.
I swear he used it against George Bush during the primary.
I don't recall that he did, but.
Sanguine, thank you. What happened to the assumption that the other side also think that they're doing the right thing? They aren't being evil, they're just wrong. That is, I preach this so much. That is the biggest issue in our country right now. No matter what issue you're looking at, the problem with it is that the two sides, and I'm going to be a little partisan here because I've noticed it with the left far more than the right, because I do think it comes down to the left thinks the right is evil and the right thinks the left is stupid. There was a time when everybody just agreed. Everybody was trying to do the right thing. They just had different ideas on how to do it.
Right.
And for me, again, it started with Reagan, but that's when I started paying any kind of attention to politics at all. Reagan was an evil man.
Mm-hmm.
And then George Bush Sr. was an evil man. And I know he's not actually a senior, Herbert Walker.
Right.
And it got to the point, going back to like when I've mentioned before being on the Bill Maher message boards. And this was during George W. Bush's term. And I kept hearing about how evil and mean and just awful Republicans were. And then I'd read stories about how Republican, what's the word I'm looking for? Headquarters in different cities were getting shot up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, the Republicans are saying things, and you have obviously liberals out there trying to kill people. There's a marked difference. And watching the rhetoric from the left, it's been very dehumanizing. It's evil. They're evil men. They pollute water. I mean, I've actually seen that Republicans want to pollute water. There was that ad from, was it this election or the previous one? I can't remember, where a Democrat actually ran a campaign ad against his competitor, suggesting he wanted to make condoms illegal, basically forcing women to have babies. I'm like, no, that's not even close. And the Republicans have started picking that up as well. They used to, this is where I kind of agree with Ben Shapiro a little bit about Milo. Because while I love the provocative stuff, I always saw the Republicans at least trying to stay above the fray, the politicians.
Mm-hmm.
And they've gotten just as bad about making it about them being evil, rather than these are people who have different ideas and they're wrong. It's they're stupid and they're evil. And that kind of shit really needs to stop. Liberal Zethior the Blind, liberals no, progressives are not liberals. I really hate having that debate. I've been having this debate for so long. Nobody likes the labels that they're given. Like when Sargon calls himself a classical liberal, either admit that you're a modern day conservative or shut the fuck up. If you want to, we know what the labels mean at this point. And yes, they constantly shift. If you don't want to shift with them, if you want to just hold on to that label, get used to being lumped in.
Yeah, that's why I try to eschew like giving myself a category, because like I say, several years ago when I first became, I only really became politically aware, honestly, and this sounds cliche, but after 9/11, I didn't really feel like, that I had no sort of sense of connectedness to the rest of the world until after that happened. And there was that sense of like Americanism and nationalism and everything else. And then I started really paying attention to what was going on in the world. And like I say, from then until now, wherever I fall on the scale as it sits today, I don't think I've moved all that much, but it has moved around me for goddamn sure.
Oh,
and yeah. So I don't give myself a label. I mean, if I take one of those tests and say, oh, where are you on the on the graph of it or everything. I always end up sort of like left of center, I suppose, but I don't even know what the hell that means anymore.
I used to argue this, and I don't even know how true it is with the way things have shifted yet again. But if you go back to, say, the Bush era, John F. Kennedy would have been more of a Republican in the Bush era than a Democrat. My favorite quote from John F. Kennedy is still, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And I see at the time, there were so many people, he was still so very revered, where he's kind of, disappeared from any liberal talking points anymore. But I would see them quote this and then, beg for entitlement programs. I'm like, you're missing the fucking point here so bad. Because Kennedy, helped started the Peace Corps, which, while yes, a government program, it was people donating their time, their effort, their very labor. It wasn't, here's a bunch of money for you. So I have a problem with the whole label debate. If you don't like being lumped with liberals, maybe check where your politics line up today. So why call them liberal? Because it's the term that goes with it. You have conservatives and liberals, Democrats and Republicans. You're goddamn right. Nobody puts Weibo in the corner. I don't know what that's in relation to, but that's funny.
It's in relation to He-Man and Skeletor.
That was such an excellent. Wasn't that a great ad?
God, just the super duper over rubberized costumes they were in just made it look so. And yeah, if they actually made a movie using that kind of effect, but played it straight, like didn't try to cheese it up any more than the look of it, it would be epic.
Well, like I said,
so cool.
When I first saw it, I thought it was a new He-Man movie.
Oh man. If only.
They start dancing. It's like, oh my God, that's awesome.
If only. God,
okay, guys, I'm so sorry. I've been ranting here and missed any questions you've asked.
You ranting? What?
Well, this is one of the things I'm very passionate about. I love politics, and I actually like the game of politics too, which is something people have trouble separating. Like Bill Clinton, whether you like his policies or not, excellent politician. He could play a room like you would not believe. And I enjoyed watching that. I don't agree with a lot of what he stood for, but I enjoyed watching it.
So questions, guys, big question marks, everything else. We're actually going to pay attention to questions now.
Yeah.
Little late in the game, but there you go. Let's see. We're on SDA's channel tomorrow night. Did we say Monkey Dick Jim Jones movies? Hit the like button, and if you like what we do, please share our material all over the place.
Even if you don't like what we do, share it.
Yeah, even if you don't like it.
We keep an eye on Twitter tomorrow, because SDA is really not feeling well, and we're scheduled to be on her channel tomorrow.
Jack Cochran says, do midgets get electrocuted in a high chair?
Well, it would be for them.
I would be curious to know if a midget has ever been electrocuted in the United States.
I don't know. I did find out there are indeed Asian midgets. That's kind of cool.
Sure. Who would you cast in a new He-Man movie? Oh God.
The guy that's in the commercial.
Yeah, whoever produced those commercials. If I could tell them, hey, I want you to do an entire He-Man movie. I want your actors to play it absolutely straight, but use those same over-exaggerated costumes and big muscle suits or whatever the hell you were doing. But play it like a straight like make Lord of the Rings with this aesthetic. I would be the happiest guy on the planet.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. And if they got Battle Cat looking cool. Ranting Monkey Scribelight, what's your favorite Sean Connery movie? Hunt for Red October. Or I'll take it back. Probably Goldfinger.
I would probably still say Hunt for Red October. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but yeah, Goldfinger or Hunt for Red October. It's a toss-up.
Monkey, you don't believe in music, cigars, and blowjobs? I believe they exist.
Yeah, sure.
Asian midgets, are they twice as sexy as regular midgets? You know what I'm curious about? Because Asian women are known for their small pussies. I wonder if a midget Asian has like the tiniest pussy on the planet.
Jesus Christ. Of a human.
Jericho wants to know how much was the generous donation last night. It was $100. Yeah. China has a midget theme. Park. So yes, there is Agent Midgets. Sweet.
Nothing for you here. How has it been for ads lately? Ranting Monkey, Scriblight. I've been noticing more of them lately. As they come in on my nights, I do my best to get them done within a day. I mean, at the worst, except for the special such things as the one Jonathan Malone's requested. That's going to be a project, but yeah, I mean, sometimes it can seem a little overwhelming, especially during the stream, because I really want to get them done during the stream in which they're requested if I can. But if push comes to shove, you just have to put it off. Monkey, do you think the Chargers will win a game this year? Says Captain Brett.
No, not the way they're playing right now. I just don't. Maladjusted one wants us to know that Magog and the Beardbarian can be added to the list of tongue-buttered turtle caves.
Oh, Lord.
We do not support such actions. Based Mama asked, what's our favorite horror movie that scares or scared the hell out of us?
I still find the original Exorcist disturbing. I'm not talking about the super duper anniversary cut where they added in new scenes and stuff. I'm talking about, I'll take the cleaned up version they did for like the 25th anniversary or whatever. But that movie is still creepy as hell to me. If I sit there and watch it in the dark, it's still fucking scary.
Jacob Jet asks if I think about midget pussy a lot. I actually don't think about it that much. I just really do love midgets.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Oh yeah. For the one that scared me the most is still the original Nightmare on Elm Street. That movie fucked me up for a while.
Yeah.
Kogi wants to know what Jenny's number is. It's 867-530-99.
Weebo says, did you guys?
I've mentioned this in another stream. When I lived in Virginia, in Norfolk, 867 is a prefix. So I used to prank call that number all the time.
I remember seeing an article where like people with that number, like they found all the people that had that number and they say, oh yeah, I still get called. I still get calls, people asking for Jenny.
I'm sure they do, yeah.
Weebo says, did you guys see It yet? I have not. A friend of mine saw it. They said it wasn't scary. Not that I can't remember if they said it was like bad, but it just didn't scare them. So it's kind of like, I'll just wait until I can see it on Netflix or something. I'm not that, up on it. And although I did see something today where the creators of that movie explained why their movie succeeded and The Dark Tower didn't. I didn't read the article, but I was really interested to find out what their explanation was.
I think it has more to do with the fact that it was a movie before and there was a lot of hype around it. James Coley. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it has more to do with the fact that The Dark Tower was branded as a sequel to a book series that most people haven't read. Exactly. And also they were trying to encapsulate a gigantic 7-book series worth of lore in referential terms in a 2-hour movie. And it didn't work.
It's very much the reason the WoW movie failed. The Warcraft movie.
Yeah.
James Coley says, did you like the fact that I posted your boob video to her on Twitter? Yes, I thought that was funny as hell. I hope she watched it.
Jacob Jet says, Scriblight is the original It worth watching. It is simply for the experience. However, it's a 2-parter. You have the one part where it takes place in the past with the kids, sort of like this new movie does. That movie, and remember, it was a made-for-TV ABC movie, so it's very stilted on the explicit stuff. The first half of the TV movie, that in the past with the 50s and the kids, that's worth watching. Even though it's cheesy in places, Pennywise is awesome. The kids are actually really good actors there, and it's sort of a Stand By Me with a scary clown and that kind of stuff. The second half, where they go into the adult phase, it's awful. Just cheese, bad acting, awful. But watch it just so you know. That's the thing. Even if it's bad, it's worth watching just to know sometimes.
Irate Prostate asked if we'd consider covering Repo Man. I love Repo Man, but I'm enjoying the action movies.
Yeah, we've been asked that several times about Repo Man, and I wouldn't be averse to it, but right now it's sort of like, the dumb action shoot 'em up kind of stuff is where we're at right now. Something with a bit more nuance maybe later on. But what?
Maladjusted said new movie request. Clue. Clue would be so fun.
Oh,
but,
God.
Oh, maybe.
Hey, my lights just flickered. That's not good.
That's not good.
Okay, well, if I suddenly disappear, that might be
damn, we only have 6 minutes left anyway. So
yeah, we do. Space Cop by Red Letter Media. Yeah, I don't think we'll be reviewing Space Cop. I think Space Cop in and of itself is a movie review.
Real quick, what do you think? Have you seen the controversy with Stephen King? Because he said Trump was I forget the terminology, but basically an asshole for enjoying Hillary Clinton getting hit with a golf ball. And everybody's like, well, you're not really one to talk about people being messed up, considering you had a kid orgy in one of your books.
Yeah, when celebrities say things, unless they have a PhD behind them in a relevant topic, I just kind of like, whatever.
I think he's still free to talk about it.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. It's just like I don't care. It doesn't mean it is as meaningful to me as someone on Twitter saying the exact same thing that I've never heard of before. It's just a guy, Stephen King, it's a guy. He's got a job. He does a thing. He's just as like anybody else. He just happens to be famous doing what he does. Because for every famous person that's like famous for whatever thing they did, there's 17,000 other people who just missed it by an inch, and it's just a matter of luck that he's there and they're not. And it's just like, okay.
Jacob just asked when Hillary got hit with a golf ball. I don't know. I haven't actually seen Trump's tweet. I've seen the fallout when people are talking about King.
I thought that happened a long time ago, because I saw the back of her head has a hairstyle from like the 90s. I think
I hit my brother with a golf ball once. It was horrible. We were practicing at my dad's house, and he was in my way. I'm like, you need to move. So he moves all the way to my right. And I hit this ball with my driver and shanked it horribly and hit him right in the stomach, dropped him like that. I laughed. I made sure he was okay, and then I laughed.
Also, it's not even a real thing. She didn't get hit by a golf ball. It's a fake mocked up GIF. She tripped. She tripped at one point during the Clinton administration, the first one, obviously. She tripped getting onto Air Force One and fell over, and somebody just put together a clip of Trump hitting a golf ball, and then that's the reason she tripped and fell. That's it. It's fake,
gotcha.
Completely fake.
Well, even my point on this is that how long ago did Stephen King write It?
Oh, it was 1970s, I think. Let me check.
And nobody has given a fuck about that scene.
No.
Made a big deal about it. This is the kind of stuff that only comes up when somebody says something you disagree with politically, and then suddenly, you did this horrible thing.
1986.
Yeah, so it's been out there for 30
ABC made a TV movie about it, and nobody gave a shit. It's just like
Flair Fritz asked, there was a child orgy in a King book? Yeah, It.
Yeah, it was part of, there was, and I'm only vaguely remembering, there was some story element to it.
And it's not an orgy.
No, it was a gangbang. There's one girl. There's one girl in the group. The plot element was something about none of them could be virgins for the ritual or whatever they were going to do to fight the monster, because that would make them weak to its influence or something. So in order to cure themselves of this, the one girl in the group lays down and just takes it from all of them when they're like 12 and 11 or whatever the fuck it was. It was near the end of the book, yes.
Which is actually a departure from horror. One of the standards in horror is that virgins are the ones who are saved.
Yeah, the purest ones are the ones that can fight the evil. Yeah.
Jacob Jett, how do you ignore a fucking child gangbang? You would be surprised what you can read in books. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, especially Stephen King books, because, man, some of that stuff, well, if you read any of his early stuff, The Stand, It, Needful Things, he goes off in some crazy places, and it's just Stephen King,
Well, hell, if you read, The Raven, what the fuck's his name? Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Poe was fucked up. There's so much fucked up literature out there. It's really astounding if you go look for it.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I'm so sorry if I've missed questions tonight. I've been very talkative. Scribbles has been worked up.
Yeah, that's true.
It's been fun, but I feel bad for the audience here. I'm sorry.
Jesse just asked real quick, would we ever do Turner and Hooch? Only if we can do K9 first.
Oh, K9 was great. I actually prefer it.
Belushi. Yeah, but the K9 was better than Turner. I'm pretty sure Turner and Hooch came out first. Maybe. I forget now.
I like the dog better.
Yeah, the dog was more.
Ooh. Weibo says she's written some fucked up literature. I'd be interested to read that.
Ooh, Weibo. Is it about midgets? Is it about police midgets?
Did you make my video yet, woman?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, run around with your arms flailing.
No, she already did that one.
Oh, what's the other one?
She said I could request anything, and I don't want to give it away.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
But she's supposed to make that for me.
All right. Well, we're at the top of the hour.
Guys, thank you so much for the donations, and not just to me, to Scribe and SDA too. Thank you, especially the ad thing. I enjoy watching you guys get him all worked up about how crazy you get. Thank you for joining us every night. Thank you for caring enough to be here. It's so awesome to see you guys every night. Scribbles, a pleasure as always. Guys, your life makes me sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.